of a new book claims that children are starting school with the speech capacity of 3-year-olds. But what can parents do to improve their kids' vocab and speech? Well, that author of Teach Baby to Talk and Make Reading Fun is here on the couch to share some insights with us. Welcome, Sandra Smith.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome to the Circle, Sandra. You have been a teacher of primary school kids for more than 30 years. So you've been in a great position to know what you're talking about.
Yes.
What do you think are the reasons why these kids have such an inability to speak properly at the age of 6 and 7?
Well, roughly 25% of children coming to school with these problems. When I first noticed this problem was at least about 1995. I'd been teaching in the country and I came back to a suburban school and I had a kindergarten for the first time in about 15 years and I thought, hang on a minute.
Something's different.
Something's really different here. And I had about 8 out of 30 children who had speech problems, which were not due to any other reason other than they hadn't learned to speak properly. They either had very, very limited vocabularies, they wouldn't engage in conversation, or they mispronounced their words completely wrongly. And they used little short sentences like a 3-year-old would use. Instead of saying, can I go to the toilet, they'd say, I go toilet. And
why?
so,
How did that happen? Yeah.
Well, what I think has happened is there's several things. I've done a lot of research into the problem because I wanted to write this book. I actually started giving this book as a talk to my parents at the school I'm teaching at now, and because I'd moved from teaching kindergarten into the library as a teacher librarian, and I'm teaching the whole school from kindergarten to year 6, but I thought we need to let parents know this is happening because they obviously, every time I do this talk in the kindergarten orientation week, some people were just amazed. What do you mean children need to be able to speak in correct sentences when they come to school?
I suppose you don't know if you don't know.
No, you don't.
Know what your kid's
and I
supposed to be
think one of the
doing.
reasons that young parents don't know is because they don't have the family support that we. Certainly I enjoyed growing up.
When people are busy these days and there's no guidebook necessarily on how to raise kids.
No.
You've got
especially with the first year, they haven't been through it before.
No.
I found with my daughter when she was at the start of that year, they expected her to be able to count to 20 and she couldn't, and it was it was a massive feeling of failure for me to go, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that she was meant to know how to do that.
Well, you should have known. You've got some great tips, Sandra.
Yes.
Let's go through some of them, starting with singing and rhymes.
Singing is very, very important for children's developing their phonemic awareness. There's several skills involved in learning to read, and phonemic awareness is a very, very important one where the sounds of the language are embedded into the subconscious. And singing songs and repetition are very important.
So are you saying, like we love Justine Clarke here on the Circle, the Wiggles, those things, and particularly the repetitive nature. I know Molly Rose knows all of Justine Clarke's album, and even though she can't talk, are you saying that what's happening on a subconscious level is really important?
That's right. But the old traditional nursery rhymes are really important for developing that. We always used to teach reading. When I was teaching kindergarten, the first few weeks of kindergarten, I often used to put nursery rhymes on the wall, and so we'd say Humpty Dumpty, and I know that. I know what all those words say. They relate immediately to the language and the words. But when children don't come to school knowing nursery rhymes, then
they're already behind.
They are, but that's not the main problem. Main problem is you must speak to your babies as if they understand every word you say from the day they're born.
So not like baby talk.
No baby talk.
I've had a lot of practice at that because that's how I talk to my dogs.
That's right. There's a lot of similarities.
I waffle to everybody as though they understand what I'm saying all the time, and I'll say, you know, Lou, blah, 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 and they look at you and they listen and they eventually comprehend.
So rather than saying, Nani, you want a Nani? And someone tried to do that to Molly Rose the other day, and she sort of looked at them like they were a twish.
Banana.
And you say, it's a banana. Do you want a banana?
Yes.
That's the other thing, because it's so cute. I had a girlfriend whose grandson used to say Tawadi instead of karate. He was going to Tawadi and we just died. It was the cutest thing in the world. And she used to say to me then, it's really hard to correct him. I know I have to every time. Karate, and I have to say, you've got to have a few Tawadis, haven't you?
Look, it's very cute when they're 3, 2.5 and 3, but it's a problem if they're 5 coming to school.
I've got a girlfriend who's a single mother and she's a very silent person. She's just a very quiet, and her little girl didn't speak. Like, and it must have been because no one was talking to her.
That's what I was talking about, the family influence, the number of conversations that children used to have. Where I grew up in Sydney, I was born in Annandale, in the middle of Sydney, and in the same street lived my grandparents, 3 aunties, and a great aunt and her family. So there was about 11 members of an extended family in my street. So whenever I was at grandma's or at auntie's, somebody would pick up on, you know, when the little one's learning to speak.
And talk normally to you.
And
so
just
you
talk
picked
normally.
Up. How soon should we be reading books to our kids?
As soon as you can sit them on your lap. Straight away, within
3
the
months.
first couple of, yes, reading.
Okay.
And it'd be a good idea if you're sharing mealtime together, turn off the TV.
Yes, very much
Have
so.
a conversation.
Now, let's just say you're watching and your child is 4 or 5 and you're recognising now that they're a bit behind. And we don't want to give you the guilt, we want to help you change that.
That's
What can you do at that age?
You need to go and get some help. You need to have it assessed to see if it's a... It's very hard sometimes for parents to pick up on children have hearing problems.
Yes.
They can go, because especially if they're not the first child, if they're the 3rd or 4th child, a child can be in a family and be picking up on the cues of what's going on and not speaking a lot, and the others are speaking for him or her. So if
rule
you
out
suspect
any medical thing first.
Yes,
and
always rule out.
And I think
medical
audiology
things
tests are free at most hospitals if you get a referral from your GP.
Oh, again, we could talk all day. Thank you so much for coming in, Sandra
That's
Smith.
fine. Yes,
Thank you so much. Sandra has a book, luckily, if you can't talk all day to her. You can get the book. It's called Teach Baby to Talk and Make Reading Fun. It's available online and you can check it out on our website, the Circle website. Coming up after this break, the latest news headlines. You're watching The Circle. We'll see you soon.